Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Friday. We've made it to the end of the first business week of 2026. Your reward for the next 2.5 or so hours is some sports talk here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and live on our streaming video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. My name is Dan Lucero. Brendan Dworzinski will be along in a bit. Spencer Dupuis will be along as well. And as I mentioned, we are with you for the next 2.5 or so hours on 580 Sports Talk so that we can make way for some high school hoops on a Friday night. The 580 Preps Game of the Week tonight sends me to the pressure cooker at Highland Park High School. Our first look at the Scots and Lady Scots this year in Meadowlark Conference play against Atchison. Biggest test in Meadowlark Conference history for the Highland Park Scots, who are 38-0, the boys, in league play since they joined the league 4 seasons ago. And now they take on an undefeated Atchison team that is ranked second in Class 4A by the KBCA. So should be some good basketball tonight at Ken Darting Gymnasium. I will be on the call. Pre-game coverage scheduled for about 5:15. They're hoping to get the girls varsity started close to 5:30. So we'll have our coverage 15 minutes prior to the start of the girls contest. And it's again right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9, our 580 Preps Game of the Week. So in the interim, we've got a whole sports weekend to look ahead to, and it is wild card weekend in the National Football League. And the Chiefs not playing on wild card weekend isn't new. In fact, it's been pretty commonplace over the course of the last handful of years. The Chiefs either had one of the two byes or had the bye once the playoff expanded to 7 teams. So it's not the shock to the system yet that I think divisional weekend is going to feel like when there is no Chiefs game next week. Like, it is not foreign for the Chiefs to not have a game on wild card weekend, for there to be 6 games and none of them involve the Chiefs. That's not particularly new. What is new, of course, in the Patrick Mahomes era is there aren't any playoff games to look forward to. There is no bye. There is no divisional round action. There's just nothing. It's done. It's over with. And I don't think we'll really feel that until next week. But we do have a wild card weekend, and we have, I think, some really fascinating games on tap for the weekend. So what I'm going to do, high school yearbook style, I'm going to award my wild card weekend superlatives. Talk about which game is the most exciting, which quarterback is under the most pressure, which game is most likely to suck, which game is most likely to produce an upset, which game or which team is most likely to fire their coach if they lose on wild card weekend. We'll have all of that and some more coming up as we look ahead to wild card weekend. We'll also later on in the show pick the 6 first-round games against the spread, and we'll give our Super Bowl predictions. Who's going to win Super Bowl 60? I'll let you know who my pick is a little bit later on this hour. And certainly want to hear your predictions, not just for the weekend, but ultimately who is going to win the Super Bowl and who are they going to beat? I want to hear from you. 785-272-9429 is the text line, or in the live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We have a great guest lined up today, Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider. Matt covers the Chiefs for Chiefs Digest, chiefsdigest.com. We'll start the look ahead to the long off season to come for the Chiefs with Matt talking a little bit about the immediate end of the season, the early changes to the Chiefs coaching staff, and a whole lot more with Matt Derrick as he joins us at the bottom of this hour. We will also look ahead to the rest of the sports weekend. There is one more college football playoff semifinal tonight. Indiana taking on Oregon. Last night, a thriller. Miami defeated Ole Miss. A game that really never should have been close. Miami physically dominated that game, just couldn't get out of their own way, which is honestly very Miami, very Mario Cristobal Miami of them. But in the end, Carson Beck was able to lead the game-winning drive, scored the game-winning touchdown with 13 seconds. Tremendous game, very long, Commercial breaks in college football are ridiculous, especially these playoff games. But Miami wins at 31-27, and the Canes are playing for a natty for the first time since 2002. Will they play the Hoosiers or the Ducks? An all Big Ten semifinal coming up tonight. We'll talk about that. Also look ahead to the Saturday to come in college hoops. An early one for KU at West Virginia. Can the Jayhawks get over the 500 mark in conference play and take some momentum from their dramatic rally Tuesday night at home over TCU? Can K-State get into the win column in Big 12 play? Boy, howdy, they need to. It's understandable to lose to BYU in Arizona. No shame in being 0-2 against that stretch of your schedule. But you got to find a way to win the other games if you're going to make the tournament. Because if you don't make the tournament, it's going to be real uncomfortable conversations that coaching staff is going to have with their superiors. So if going to the tournament is the goal, you got to win at Arizona State. That is a non-negotiable. That is as close to a must-win. You know I hate that term, but it is as close to one as you would have in your third game of Big 12 play. So we'll look ahead to those games as well, do some headlines. And again, we're off at about 5:15-ish today for high school hoops. One more reminder how you can interact with the show today. Want to hear from you on the text line, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also hop in the live chat on our YouTube stream. If you're watching the YouTube stream live, 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Jump in that chat, say hello, interact with your fellow listeners, grow the 580 Sports Talk community, and interact with your hosts as well. We are 96 subscribers away from 1,000. We got to 904. The one listener did leave a comment on a previously aired edition of 580 Sports Talk and said, if y'all are really doing karaoke, I'm going to unsubscribe. They did a laughing emoji with it, too, so not sure that was entirely serious. But, yes, we got over the 900 subscriber hump yesterday, in case you missed that, which means we are going to be scheduling 580 Sports Talk karaoke, 580 Sports Talk Idol. When are we going to do that? You hang tight. We'll tell you in the 4 o'clock hour. Yes, we will. So go subscribe and get us closer to our next stretch goal, which we have not decided on yet. You're going to have to give us a little time to come up with a stretch goal for 1,000 YouTube subscribers. But I think one of our listeners, I think it was Dan, suggested we just throw a kegger if we get to 1,000. I mean, I've heard worse ideas, but that might be one we got to go through legal, and that doesn't sound like a lot of fun for me. So we'll come up with something else when we get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. But thank you to the 904 of you who have subscribed. And hey, get us one step closer. Go smash that subscribe button. Get us one step closer to 1,000 because I like big round numbers, and 1,000 would be very cool. Again, that's the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Wild Card Weekend opens tomorrow afternoon. The Saturday game, amazing. We finally found a playoff team abject enough to move the Texans out of the Texans slot because the Texans always play the first game on Saturday. Always, always, always. When the Texans are in the playoffs, they play that first game on Saturday. Not this year. Nope. The Carolina Panthers exist. And we're going to get their game out of the way as they host the Los Angeles Rams in round one in the NFC. That's the first game tomorrow. The night game, available only on Amazon Prime in case you've missed the billion or so commercials for that. Packers-Bears is your Saturday night game. Triple header on Sunday starts with Bills at Jaguars. Then it's back to the NFC with the 49ers at the Eagles in the late afternoon slot. The Sunday night game, the Chargers at the Patriots. Our Monday night playoff game, the Texans going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Starting our wild card weekend superlatives, what's the most exciting game of the six? What has the potential to be the most exciting game? I will say it is the best quarterback matchup on the board, and that's Bills-Jaguars. Again, a common theme we're going to keep coming back to is I know there are a lot of teams who made the playoffs on the strength of their defenses. If you are Seattle, if you are Denver, if you are Houston, you are hammering that defense wins championships drum. You are playing that song. You believe that despite some occasionally questionable quarterback play, Sam Darnold been downright bad for half a season. He was really good to start the season. You look at his numbers second half of the season, he hasn't been good. That's not me being a hater this time. That's the numbers. Bo Nix has never been good at any point in his professional football career. And don't let the numbers lie to you there. He's not good, but the Broncos are the 1 seed in the AFC. CJ Stroud is solid, has had his moments, but Houston has had trouble protecting him this season. Those are defense-forward football teams, is what I'm saying. You could probably add Philadelphia to that list, too. Their defense in the second half of the season has been good as any of those teams, has been as good. But I keep coming back to the idea that this is a quarterback league and January is for quarterbacks. And if you do not have the guy who can lead the fourth quarter drive, the guy who can make the play happen out of nothing, who can solve the saltiest of defenses, if you don't have that guy, you don't win anything in January. You have to go back 11 years for the last time a defense-forward football team won a Super Bowl. And 11 years is an eternity in football years because of how fast the gears of innovation turn in the league. So I'm still a believer. This is a quarterback league, and this is a quarterback time of year. And Bills-Jags is the best quarterback matchup of round one. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC field, and Trevor Lawrence has played really good football the entire season, but especially since the Jaguars acquired Jacoby Myers to give him another middle-of-the-field threat. He's come on. Parker Washington has come on. And the Jaguars offense operating at a pretty high level. What's interesting about this game, though, is I think it's going to be pretty high scoring because I think the Jaguars are going to be able to run the ball so effectively on the Bills because everybody runs the ball effectively on the Bills because the Bills can't stop the run. They're just not good in their front seven. They do not stop the run. So I think the Jaguars are going to have a lot of success moving the ball because the Bills' defense is not good. The Jaguars' defense is good, but they're going up against Josh Allen. And before you roll your eyes about playoff Josh Allen, really go look at the numbers. Not being as good as Patrick Mahomes is not an insult. And that is the story of Josh Allen's playoff career. Really, really good, except when trying to get over the hump against Patrick Mahomes. And even in those games, individually, he's been pretty terrific. He's going to have to be terrific again to win on the road, which leads me to my next superlative. The quarterback under the most pressure this weekend is Josh Allen. Do not let any of the talking heads who want to say, well, it's a team game. It's not fair to blame the quarterback. It's not fair to blame Josh Allen if the Bills don't get it done this year because Josh Allen's defense stinks. The Bills' defense can't stop the run. They don't have enough playmakers on offense. That's what the money is for. Guys, why do we pay quarterbacks all the money if it's not on them to go get the job done? Do not let anybody gaslight you into thinking that this Bills playoff run, whatever it looks like, is not a referendum on Josh Allen. Because the boogeyman is on the sideline with a brace on his knee, and his team isn't playing. Josh Allen's boogeyman is not in the picture. So it is time for the second best quarterback of his generation, and that's what Allen is. It is time for the second best quarterback of his generation to go and get his ring. The barricade is not in his way. It is on him. And if he does not do it now, then when? Because the Bills roster has been steadily declining over the last couple of years. It's not dissimilar in some ways to how the Chiefs roster declined the last couple of years. But here's the big difference. Patrick Mahomes kept getting his team to the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowls as the talent around him declined. And you know who hasn't been doing that? Josh Allen, because he can't beat Patrick Mahomes, but that's not a problem this year. So what happens this year for Josh Allen, or we start to ask some questions about whether it can. And I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair to Josh Allen. That's what the money's for. You're the guy. You're the most important player. You're the guy who's got to overcome the structural deficiencies of the rest of your roster and go win the championship if you're really that guy. Because, again, Mahomes did it twice and got to a Super Bowl a third time. So Josh Allen is the quarterback under the most pressure. What about the flip side? What game is the most likely to be a slog this weekend? That is an easy answer for me. That is Monday's game, Texans-Steelers. I think the Steelers' defense is pretty good. It's not a vintage Steeler defense, but they have good pass rush, and against a Houston offensive line that isn't very good, they should be able to impact the Texans passing game. But the Texans defense is unbelievable, and I just think they're going to swallow the Steeler offense whole. I don't think the Steelers are going to have any kind of solution. So the best option for the Steelers is they've got to play keep away. They have to be able to run the ball effectively, and they've got to be awesome on defense. If they're going to win this game, it has to look like 13-10, something like that. And even a game like that, I think, still favors the Texans, because a game like that usually turns on an explosive play or two, and I don't think the Steelers have what it takes to make explosive plays against the Texans defense, even with the return of DK Metcalf. I think the Texans are much likelier to create the explosive with their passing game. That's why I think the Texans are going to win that game, but I do not think that's going to be aesthetically pleasing football. I think it's going to be violent and low-scoring and slugfest football. We'll go through the betting lines in the 4 o'clock hour, but my next superlative, which team is most likely to get upset? There are 3 teams who are road favorites in the first round, and Bills, Jags, last I looked, and I haven't looked in a couple of hours, but last I looked, that was a pick'em. So you're feeling pretty good about the road teams in this round of the postseason. That doesn't really surprise me. Which team is most likely to get upset, I think, is probably the Packers. And that's, you can say that's a cop-out answer because they're only favored by 1.5 on the road. But I mean, there's a reason that team is the 7th seed. And they don't have a ton of punch on defense. And the Bears are a team that has a lot of variance because they turn you over on defense. The Packers are really good at taking care of the ball. It's why ultimately I think the Packers probably win that game. But I think they're the most likely of the favorites to get beat, because they do turn it over a time or two, and the Bears can play ground and pound at home. I think that's a big advantage for them. What game is the most likely to get ugly early? That's an easy one. Rams, Panthers. The Rams did lose in Carolina just about a month and a half ago. I do not think Lightning is particularly likely to strike twice. I think the Rams are going to have their ducks in a row. They've been a really good first-round playoff team in recent vintage. I think they're going to come out firing. They are 10.5-point favorites in that game. I think they might be covering that by the end of the first quarter. I think they are that much more talented than the Panthers. And this being the playoffs, there's not going to be any playing with their food. Rams are going to be full throttle from the start. And I think that, let me just say this. If you have other plans for Saturday afternoon, I don't think you're going to be missing much. 3 other wildcard round superlatives. Which team is the most likely to have their own fans boo them during a first-round game? It's the Eagles, right? Not just because it's Philadelphia either, but because their offense is not good. And the expectation for the Eagles is that they will be able to score at will against an injury-ravaged 49ers defense. Most teams with really good offenses have been able to do that. Even though Seattle only scored 13 points in the regular season finale against the 49ers, they missed 2 field goals. They got to the 1-yard line, didn't score any points on a possession. They could have scored 30 with a little bit better execution and some better kicking. And they had the ball for 3/4 of the game. They just did whatever they wanted to that defense. So that will be the expectation for what the Eagles do to the 49ers. They are 6-point favorites. A couple 3-and-outs early in that game. Yeah, I think the natives could get restless. I think there could be some booing at Lincoln Financial Field in that game if the Eagles do not step on the gas and make that 49er defense look like what it is, which right now is too injury-riddled to make a playoff run. I don't think you'll get the booing anywhere else, even if the home teams lose. Like, you can boo the Panthers. Like, the Panthers go down 14-0 on the Rams. Nobody can boo at Bank of America Stadium. They're just happy to be there. 2 more. Which quarterback is most likely to face unfair criticism after a loss? And I know what you're thinking. Dan, didn't you just say all criticism is fair towards quarterback? Yeah, absolutely it is. Justin Herbert's team should not win on Sunday night. I think the Patriots are better than the Chargers. I think that the Chargers are fortunate to be in the postseason. They cannot protect Justin Herbert. I think it's going to be a hard game for him against the New England defense, and I think Drake May will outplay him. And I think that will start another round of, well, Justin Herbert can't win in the playoffs. And like, that is fair. And it's also kind of not, given the Chargers' injuries around Herbert. But I think the wheels are in motion for Josh Allen to get a pass if his team loses, and I don't think he should. Justin Herbert ain't never going to get a pass. Justin Herbert never going to get a pass for playing behind not the offensive tackles that his team was built around. They were built around the idea that they would have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater on offense, and they haven't had either of those guys. And the last one, most likely to make a coaching change after a loss. 3 answers to this question. And for the record, I don't think either of these teams will fire their coach after a loss. But the Steelers, the Eagles, and Bears will be interesting to watch. Not the Bears, excuse me. The Bills. Steelers, the Eagles, and the Bills. Be really interesting to watch. I think the most likely of those 3, honestly, and like I said, I don't think, end of the day, either of those teams is making a coaching change. But I think the most likely one would be Buffalo. Because if Buffalo can't get out of the first round this year, if they can't do it in a year where the boogeyman is on the sideline, then they have to look at that operation and say, man, we got to try something else. It's not working. We've done what we can do with Sean McDermott at the helm. It's time to do something else. I could see that being the conclusion. I don't know that I would agree with it, but I could see it. Mike Tomlin is never getting fired until the heat death of the universe, and Nick Sirianni has a ring. Like I could Philadelphia overreact? Sure, but that's what that would be. That would be an overreaction. We'll take a break. We'll get some of your reaction on the text line, 785-272-9429, and in the YouTube live chat, 580 Sports Talk. We come back. I'll tell you who I think is going to the Super Bowl. Then we got Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest to join us for some Chiefs chatter here in this first hour of this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. 3:32 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting started on this Friday. Our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, joins us in just a couple of minutes. From the YouTube live chat, again, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, Andrew makes interesting argument that Green Bay is a team that might consider firing their coach if they do not win in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know that I agree with that. We'll have to ask Packers owner Brandon Rosinski when he joins us in the 4 o'clock hour. But I don't think LaFleur would be the fall guy if the Packers lose and get eliminated by the Bears. For one, they're the 7th seed. For two, their best defensive players on the shelf. They can point to that and say, look, this is a different season if Micah Parsons' knee doesn't go. So I'm not sure Green Bay's at a crisis point with LaFleur yet. I don't know that he's like a great coach, but I also don't think he's a bad one. Some of your predictions for the Super Bowl. It's got a squeegee. It's got a Bears avatar, so unsurprisingly, he's picking the Bears. In fact, the way I'm reading his comment is he thinks the Bears will pitch 3 consecutive shutouts in the NFC playoffs. That would be a stunner. And then believes they will face New England in a rematch of the 1985 Super Bowl. So there's one for Bears Patriots. Paul says Rams Texans. It says go Rams, so he's picking the Rams over the Texans in that one. Andrew believes it will be the Rams or the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Tyler says it'll be Seattle feeding off of my hatred for my own favorite team. Listen, Tyler, nothing would make me happier. I will buy a Sam Darnold jersey and wear it to the show on the Monday after the Super Bowl if the Seahawks win. I will do that. I will do that. I will eat all the crow. That's a promise. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think the Rams are going to win the NFC. I felt for the last month and a half to 2 months that the Rams are the closest thing to a complete team in the league. They've got an outstanding offense, MVP caliber play from Matthew Stafford at quarterback, an uncoverable wide receiver in Puka Nacua, a very good running game, a solid offensive line. Defensively, they get after the quarterback. They do all the things you want a champion to do. They are as well-rounded as any team, and I think have the fewest weaknesses. Their biggest weakness is special teams. And look, that can bite you in a playoff where it doesn't feel like there's a big chasm between one group of teams and the next. That could bite them. But I just think they have the fewest and the most manageable of the weaknesses. So I think they win the NFC. I think they beat the Seahawks in Seattle in the NFC Championship game. In the AFC, I'm going with the Bills. It's now or never, and I think Josh Allen is that guy. I think this is the opportunity for the second-best quarterback of his generation to finally win the AFC Championship. They're going to have to do it on the road all the way through. I think they'll beat Jacksonville. I think they'll beat Denver. I think they'll beat Houston en route to the championship game where they will lose to the Rams. I got the Rams over the Bills. That's my Super Bowl prediction. Take it to the bank or don't. Given my record in the picks contest this year, maybe it's better that you don't. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest joins us. We'll ask him his Super Bowl prediction and talk some Chiefs with our Chiefs Insider next on 580 Sports Talk. We go to Kansas City for our Chiefs insider. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com joins us every Friday at this time on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. You can find him across all matter of social media at Matt Derrick. Matt, has it hit you yet that the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs? Because I don't think it's going to hit me all the way until divisional weekend. The Chiefs not having a game this weekend is not new. It'll be divisional weekend where it really sets in for me like, man, Chiefs aren't in this thing.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if I'm going to have any weird nostalgia or not. I mean, this week I've still just been puttering around like an old man that just doesn't know what to do. I mean, this is weird. I mean, usually there's at least something to do this week. So, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss, but I know I got to snap out of that. And there's a draft not too long from here. We got a new league year. We got free agency. I need to get a jump start on it, Dan. So,
do you find yourself watching the college football games here the last couple of weeks a little bit more closely, feeling like, man, one of these really good guys could be a Chief?
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, you're watching Reuben Bain and trying to say, okay, wait a minute, was this guy for real or not, and other guys and everything, and it's like, who have we not heard from that might show up? Yeah, no, there's no doubt. This is not scouting reports time. It's not just sitting around having fun. It's definitely scouting report time.
Yeah, I'm a big Reuben Bain guy. I know he's going to go to the combine and they're going to say he has little baby T-Rex arms, and I'm going to then say, yeah, but nobody can block him.
Yeah, but then T-Rex arm.
Yeah, I know it.
It's all about the little T-Rex arm.
That could be why he drops to number 9. Maybe he'd be top 5 if not. But anyway, there'll be lots of time to talk draft. Before we do get back into the Chiefs, though, Matt, I do have to ask, who's going to win the Super Bowl? What's your Super Bowl matchup for Super Bowl 60?
Yeah, for better or for worse, because I just went with who I think of the better teams, who I think of the better quarterbacks, and I wasn't even looking at seeding. So, of course, I ended up taking 2 wild card teams, so that's going to have to go on the road to win most of these games. But, honestly, I mean, I feel like the AFC, this is the year. I mean, if Josh Allen and the Bills can't get it done this year, they're never going to get it done. I mean, I know they've underperformed a little bit, but, I mean, he's the best quarterback left in the AFC. This is their opportunity. And I feel like the same philosophy over on the NFC side. It's like I'm going to go with who I think is the best quarterback, who's playing the best right now, the best supporting cast, the best coach, and I think that's the Rams. So I'm going with the Bills. I'm making them an early 3.5 point favorite in the Super Bowl.
Bills over Rams. I have Rams over Bills. I have the exact same thought process as you. I think that's starting to become the broader hive mind, which is making me think that we're probably going to get like Patriots Eagles again in the
Precisely.
Super Bowl. Yeah, that's it's never as predictable as we think it is. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is our guest. He is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk and joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Some turnover on the Chiefs coaching staff. Obviously, there are a lot of coaches who are interviewing from other jobs. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the Chiefs decided to move on from wide receiver coach Connor Embry. What was your impression of just how much impact he had on the wide receiver room? And do you think that the Chiefs can benefit with a change of leadership in that position group? Or is maybe the impact there a little bit overstated as far as a wide receivers coach goes?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit overstated in this sense. Because, again, I mean, I still go back to the whole, if you don't come with the right attitude and you don't work on your own time to get better, you're never going to become an elite receiver. I mean, you might be a decent receiver, but you're never going to take that jump from being good to great or great to all-pro to Hall of Famer. I mean, you do that on your own. Tyreek Hill did that on his own. I mean, he went out and he worked with Keith Williams in the offseason, and he turned himself from a guy who looked like he had a lot of talent as a rookie receiver into a potential Hall of Famer. And, this season, you saw a lot of problems in that wide receiver room. I don't think they were all Connor Embry's fault. And you look at the last few years, honestly, and you could say, hey, this wide receiver room underperformed under Connor Embry. At times, you would also say that Connor Embry did miracles with some of the injuries that they dealt with and some of the issues that they had, especially last year. And, this year was kind of more the same with suspensions and everything. But just the fact that by the end of the year, you saw a wide receiver room that was not as good as the sum of its parts, that you saw receivers just not following through, not completing assignments, not working for their quarterback. And I think you saw, that you probably need to have, if you're going to have a lot of young receivers, especially some receivers that need to mature, like a Rashee Rice, maybe like an Xavier Worthy, different reasons. I'm not putting them in the same category, but you probably need a stronger, more veteran presence in there. And so I think that certainly seems to be what the Chiefs are going to be probably going in that direction.
Do you sense that there is an appetite for maybe just a little bit more changeover? You don't rip a coaching staff that went to the last three AFC Super Bowls and AFC Championship games down to the studs, but do you sense that there is an appetite for maybe a little bit of freshening up among the coaching staff, some fresher voices in some of those position rooms? Or do you think that the Connor Embry move is kind of an outlier in that sense?
No, I mean, I think there's going to be more turnover, Dan, and some of it is going to be individually driven. Some of it might be performance driven. We got Joe Cullen, word out that he's interviewing with the Washington Commanders for their DC job. The Chiefs have 3 defensive assistants, and Cullen, Brendan Daly, Dave Merritt all want to be defensive coordinators. There's going to be a ton of defensive coordinator jobs open with these head coaching changes. So there's going to be some opportunities, and it wouldn't surprise me if 1, 2, I'd probably be surprised if all 3 found DC jobs, but it's definitely a possibility there'll be some turnover there and some shuffling. And on the offensive side, I mean, let's face it, the offense underperformed. And Andy Reid said back in, the combine back in March last year that after the Super Bowl loss, that things were going to be different to a degree in 2025. And if some of the things that went wrong in the Super Bowl weren't fixed, there was going to have to be accountability. And, Connor Embry's probably one part of that. I'm not sure that they're done there. There may be some other coaches that if they find other jobs, or maybe they're just not invited to be back. I'm not sure that final decisions have been made publicly yet on guys like Andy Heck, I think even Todd Pinkston, if I don't think he would be coming back as a running backs coach. If he's back, I think it would have to be wide receivers coach, or maybe he goes elsewhere. Another guy, Alex Whittingham, they've already lost defensively. He's going to go join his dad at Michigan. So there's going to be a lot more turnover on this staff than usual. And obviously, I mean, I think for the most part, Chiefs fans are going to be receptive to that because they kind of want accountability too with what happened this year.
We're talking to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest, ChiefsDigest.com. He is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, appears with us every Friday at this time. Speaking of turnover, there is not an offensive coordinator under contract for the Kansas City Chiefs right now. As it's well known, Matt Nagy's contract expires at the end of this season, and Nagy is one of the more in-demand names of this head coaching cycle, at least the early portion of it. He is reported to have interviews, or have already had interviews, with 4 of the teams that have vacancies. There are some, let's say, high-profile former head coaches with offensive pedigrees that are on the market that look like attractive possibilities as offensive coordinators. Mike McDaniel or Kevin Stefanski, somebody like that. Do you think if the Chiefs do end up with a new offensive coordinator, that it would be somebody coming from a head coaching background and somebody coming from maybe outside of the Reid tree? Is there that much desire to evolve and adapt, or do you think that there's still a comfort level that Andy Reid is going to have given that he's likely to still be the play caller in 2026?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that kind of head themselves off in that direction there, which is that on the one hand, I think Andy Reid's open to a certain amount of outside voices coming in, and I think he would possibly consider, someone coming from the outside as an offensive coordinator. Somebody like a Nathan Shieldhouse probably fits into that because it's a young person who's, offensive coordinator is probably the highest position. I don't think anybody's, thinking about Nathan Shieldhouse as a head coach at this point. And that's the thing. I mean, if you think if you're Kevin Stefanski, if you're Cliff Kingsbury, do you want to come to Kansas City where you're probably going to be considered by everybody as second fiddle on the offensive side and maybe not have as much control and voice as you would like to have? That might be more difficult. However, Andy Reid's also typically gone in the past when choosing coordinators with people that he's known and that he's comfortable with and has worked with in the past. And, that really makes maybe Mike Kafka the most likely name out there. If he doesn't find a head coaching job, whether it's with the Giants or somewhere else, he's a possibility. But, unless it's somebody like that, I think it's difficult for a guy like a Mike McDonald who's, controlled his own offense and been a head coach to come into Kansas City where he's, not even going to be the number one guy on the offensive side. He's going to be number two there for sure.
Matt Nagy being an in-demand coaching candidate, he's already been a head coach once, 4 years in Chicago, 2 playoff appearances, but they ran him out pretty quick when things went south. Obviously, this past year, the offensive coordinator for an offense that sputtered and ultimately missed the playoffs. So there are some, maybe some negative feelings about Nagy, and yet here he is being one of the more in-demand interviews of this early coaching cycle. What is it about Matt Nagy, you think, that makes him attractive as and it's a pejorative term generally when it's used, but as a retread, a second-time head coach? What do you think it is that makes him attractive in this coaching cycle? Is it as simple as he's a great hang? Is it as simple as it's not a great coaching hiring cycle? What is it do you think about Nagy?
I would love for teams to make more decisions on being a great hang. I think that would be probably the right way to go, actually, in a lot of cases. But, I think there's a few things. One, a team like the Titans, especially with Mike Borgonzi there as GM, where maybe you're trying to recreate a little bit of that Chiefs magic and you're trying to recreate the culture that the Chiefs have and Andy Reid has. Well, Matt Nagy's been a big part of that for a long time, so he understands that. I also, my analogy with Matt Nagy is that he's kind of like the Shawshank Redemption of coaches. His first job in Chicago, nobody went to go see it. But now everybody looks back at it and it's like a classic because you're like, this dude had a winning record and went to the playoffs twice with Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback. I mean, you almost feel like you know what? Mike Tomlin had a losing record with this guy. I took him to the playoffs twice. I won 6 games with Justin Fields, and nobody else has been able to do that. I think his tenure in Chicago, I think, has aged very, very well because now people look back on it like, wait a minute, that might have been more on Chicago than it was on Matt Nagy. And, and now Chicago looks like they're going in the right direction, but that's because they have a different GM. If Matt Nagy was still the coach there, maybe they'd be doing just as well. But I think there's a lot of those reasons why Matt Nagy is appealing to a lot of teams.
Last one for you, Matt. You mentioned the 3 defensive assistants who might have an eye on defensive coordinator jobs: Joe Cullen, Brendan Daly, Dave Merritt. Cullen reportedly getting an interview with Washington for their open defensive coordinator job under Dan Quinn. Is he the likeliest of the 3, you think, to leave the organization for a defensive coordinator gig? And would any of those 3 leave the organization for anything short of that?
I would be very. I think it'd be hard to believe that any one of them would leave for anything short of that. I mean, I feel like that a defensive coordinator is their next step, and working with Steve Spagnuolo is great for a resume there. And there's a possibility that maybe some of them think that they can be the next guy when Steve Spagnuolo either leaves or steps up if he gets a head coaching job, or maybe he's the next head coach after Andy Reid in Kansas City. I mean, you don't have to wait super long for that possibility. But they all have different motivations. I mean, Joe Cullen's a little bit older. He's been a DC before. So I think obviously for his career, I think he's the most motivated to try and get a DC job. Brendan Daly and Dave Merritt haven't been. Merritt's been pretty clear that, he's wanted to wait until his kids get out of college or get into college and everything out of high school before he considers leaving. And he's at that point now. So maybe he would consider it. Brendan Daly, I think, would be, to me, the second most likely, just because, again, you think about his career arc. He's got all the Super Bowl rings that he can count. He would be a very attractive candidate. But and like I said, I mean, it's entirely possible all 3 of them could, because they've got great reputations, and obviously working with Steve Spagnuolo has polished those resumes well.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com, and he is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline every Friday at this time. Matt, enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds great, Dan. Take care, my bud.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll step aside for a break. We'll come back with On Second Thought to wrap up this opening hour of 580 Sports Talk. On second thought, I think people are writing off and dismissing the SEC as a football power conference a little bit too readily, a little bit too gleefully. This will be the third straight year the SEC doesn't win the national championship. They will not have a team playing for the national championship after Ole Miss lost last night to Miami. And a lot of people really enjoy that because I think people don't like the SEC, especially around here. Feel like the SEC gets too much pub, has a rep that is maybe blown out of proportion because of the interest that TV networks have in the SEC. I just want to say this about the SEC. Yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. They still have the geographic advantages. That is the conference with the most schools that have the want to win national championships. Yes, things are different. The playing field is different. Geography maybe doesn't matter quite as much as it used to, but want to still matters. Want to still matters, and no conference has more want to than the SEC. 3 straight years without a title, I'll stand here right now and say I bet it's not 4. Coming up at the 4 o'clock hour, we'll predict Wild Card Weekend, do what is wrong with you, and more college hoops on 580 Sports Talk. Well, let's get it. Hour number 2, 580 Sports Talk on this Friday afternoon. So glad you're with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. I'm Dan Lucero. Brendan Dworzinski and Spencer Dupuy will both be in this hour because I got to go. I'm going to be out of here for some high school basketball. It's a Friday night in January. That means we got hoops. 580 Prep's game of the week tonight takes us out to Highland Park, where we'll get our first look at the Scots this season. They host Atchison in Meadowlark Conference play. Highland Park boys trying to stay undefeated all time in Meadowlark Conference action. They're 2-0 to start this season, 3-time defending league champs. The Highland Park girls are also 3-time defending league champs in the Meadowlark and trying to stay in the league race against an Atchison team that's out to an undefeated start in league play. So lots on the line tonight at the pressure cooker. I'll have the call starting at about 5:15, give or take. And we will have the action from Highland Park tonight. 5:15, I say approximately. They're hoping to start at 5:30 for the girls' contest. And then the boys' game to follow. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, the Kansas High School Basketball Scoreboard Show with Eric Peterson. He'll get you scores and updates and recaps from across the Sunflower State on this Friday night of basketball. I mentioned Brendan Dworzinski would be on the show this hour. How about right now? Hi, Brendan.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
How you feeling on a Friday?
Oh, made it through the week. I don't know if that's good or bad these days, but we made it through the week.
Hey,
we got a weekend. We got football all weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Football every day.
It's our
I can live with that.
Last one of those.
Oh, well, that one's sad.
Last one of those for a while,
Man,
to have.
Makes you think about like a nice, crisp October weekend. You get Titans, Jags Thursday night along with some weirdo ACC game. Friday, hey, look, Boise State is for some reason playing USF on a Friday. Sure, let's watch that if we get home from high school. College Saturday, NFL Sunday, NFL Monday. We're got to enjoy this one. I enjoyed the game last night, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, really good
That was
game.
a blast.
Really good. It should not have been close. Miami should have won that game by 2 touchdowns. They covered. Winners cover, but great teams cover. But
I told Dan this earlier today. We were just hanging out in the office chatting about it. I know Carson Beck got the most outstanding offensive player honor because he scored the winning touchdown, right? I think if you flip quarterbacks and you put Carson Beck on Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss on Miami, I think Miami might win by 17 points. But he was absolutely the better quarterback yesterday.
100%.
Carson Beck's deep ball has nothing behind. I saw someone say it looked like he was throwing chalupas. Like, it's just, there's nothing behind that throw.
That's a new description of those.
He had one in the fourth quarter. I don't think it was Tony he was targeting, although it might have been Malachi Tony. And, man, the ball just fluttered like a piece of paper down to the turf. I mean, what are we doing here?
Chalupas is a wild description of deep. My favorite description, I think it came from the Kid Miro on the website formerly known as Twitter, when he referred to Ben Roethlisberger throwing milk jugs.
That's pretty good. I would think of milk jugs as Phillip Rivers as well. Just
yeah, like the ball looks heavy and it doesn't go very far, and it like lands with a thud.
Have you ever heard the story of why Phillip Rivers threw like that?
No, I did not.
So his dad was a longtime coach in Alabama, right? Longtime high school coach. He was a ball boy from the minute he could walk. Football's been his entire life. And while they were on the field, then little Phillip with one L was running around. He'd pick up the balls and try to throw them. And from the time he was like 3 years old, a 3-year-old can't throw a regular high school football, grip the laces and everything. So he would just kind of push it off his arm. And then he just kept doing that as he got to 5 years old and 7 years old. And that's just how he learned to throw
muscle
the ball.
Memory. That's crazy.
Yeah. And like how Shaquille O'Neal learned to shoot free throws after he broke his wrist falling out of a tree. And that's why it just was crap forever. Like that's how Phillip Rivers learned to throw a ball, was being a ball boy as a kid and just shot putting it. And he turned into a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he sure did.
Learn something new every day.
So, speaking of the National Football League,
yes,
go ahead.
I was just going to say we have a texture from the 785. Since it's the last football weekend like this for a while, we're going to barbecue for the weekend. Let me tell you, I'm not going to see my kid all day Saturday because I'm on the road with Washburn. So I wish I had time to barbecue, but I think there's going to be plenty of time of Mom's going to take a break for now, and Dad is going to hang out with a little one.
Yeah, you're going to be on some dad duty. How is your young one doing?
She's doing great. She just moved up a room at the daycare.
Okay.
She's
are we mobile? Are we
Oh yeah. Dude, I'm not kidding. She was like able to push herself up and stagger for a step or two, or with help could move. Last week of December, right for Christmas, right? It's like that until about noon on New Year's Day. We're just sitting in the living room hanging out. All of a sudden, pushes herself up, walks all the way across the room on her own. Like, where did that come from?
Right?
5 minutes ago, you could barely stand up. What is this?
Happened like everything else developmentally for kids. It happens bit by bit and then all at once.
You know what she doesn't like? Shoes. And in her new room, they take them outside every day when it's not raining or snowing. And so and I guess it's a licensing thing. You have to have shoes on kids.
Yes.
She does not like that part. Does not like shoes.
See, Asher likes shoes to the point where the other morning he went and got me my shoe. Like he was ready to go.
Okay, so I should rephrase here. She loves playing with mom and dad's shoes. She hates wearing her own shoes.
Sure.
That's where the hang up. She would love to put on my Vans and just waddle around in them, I'm sure. But her little Velcro sneakers, not so much.
That is awesome to hear. Glad she's up and about, and you are in so much trouble now.
Oh,
you are. I remember thinking, man, I can't wait till Asher's walking, and within about a week of that, I'm like, man, can you just stay where we leave you for like? Remember when I could just put you in a stand and I could make my coffee in the morning and I could get myself some breakfast and I could chill and you'd be happy in your little stand. And now, no, he's tearing up and down. He's stealing mom's deodorant off of the dresser. And
I didn't show you the video of this. She took a bag of muffins off the counter yesterday. My wife made some very good cranberry muffins.
Daughter wanted some.
Kept them in a Ziploc bag on the counter. I can't believe she's tall enough to reach the countertop. I did not know she could do that. And I'm at Skinny's for the Washburn Coaches Show. And right before we go on, I open my phone, look, and she's just pulling the bag down, cracks it open, pulls one out, takes a big chunk out of it.
Hilarious.
And then mom says, "What are you doing there?" And she turns around, no shame, no embarrassment, looks right into the camera and just another bite, tries to reach in for another one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's over. We're fried.
Yeah,
it's done.
You really and truly are. After a little bit of 580 dad talk, we still have this hour little What Is Wrong With You to get to. We're going to talk about the weekend coming up in college hoops. Got a short burst of headlines coming in the 5 o'clock hour before we make way for high school basketball. Do want to hear from you on the text line, 785-272-9429, and on the YouTube live chat over on 580 Sports Talk. I promised the people we were going to set the date for 580 Sports Talk Idol.
Oh, good.
And then we got really busy and we never got to convene as a group to decide when we were going to do it.
Correct.
How about we do it? Because this will give us a chance to collect some, collect the requisite songs. And then it will also be on a day where we don't have to go do some basketball. What if we say January 20th? It'll be the day after Martin Luther King Day, so we'll be back. We'll have a long weekend.
Okay.
January 20th in the 4 o'clock hour.
I can do that.
We good?
We can make that work.
All right. We got thumbs up from Spencer across the way too. He's dialed into the feed. So the crew has confirmed the date is set. January 20th.
All right.
580 Sports Talk Idol. As we get closer, we'll solicit your nominations for the songs we're going to sing, and then we're going to set it up. We're going to do it in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to do 580 Sports Talk Idol. We're going to see about getting some judges to judge our singing, and the losers.
So this isn't just get up, do some karaoke, we laugh, and move on. This is like, no, you're going to be judged here.
No, this is get up, do some karaoke, we laugh at you.
Oh, okay, good.
And do a little critiquing, a little pitchy for me, dog, a little pitchy, and we'll have the listeners pick the winner.
Who was the whichever I know a different reality show, but thinking of the Shark Tank episode that infamously is it Damon John maybe 1.3 seconds into the pitch goes, I'm out. Doesn't even have the name of the product yet. Guy just walks in and says, nope, I'm out. That's how this is going to go for me. I do not have a good singing voice, one bit.
We will all sing separately, and then
and then we'll do "We Are the World" to close it.
No, we'll have the listeners pick a winner, and then the two losers will duet. How about that? The two losers will do a duet, like a Captain and Tennille or Peaches and Herb. We'll have you all submit a duet song, and then the losers will duet.
That's awesome.
That's how we're gonna do it.
All right,
that's how we'll do it. Tuesday, January 20th. The date is set. Save the date. 580 Sports Talk Idol.
The bit is that every single song we do is My Maria.
Yeah, we all sing My Maria.
Every single song.
Let's talk some football, shall we? The wild card weekend is here. They don't call it the super wild card weekend anymore, which I kind of appreciate.
There are very few things, like the NFL just introduces things and we just like live with it and accept it, except for two examples. They dumped Super Wild Card Weekend and they stopped putting the combine in primetime.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that said, all right, you know what? This time we did bite off more than we could chew. Our bad, guys.
Yeah, so even if
back to NFL Network with you.
I will never refer to anything involving the Carolina Panthers as super. I just, even the Super Bowl that they were in, I refuse to do that. Anyway, it is wild card weekend. Let's go game by game and make some picks. Saturday afternoon, first game of the playoffs, Rams, Panthers. Rams are 10.5-point favorites on the road. I said in the opening segment, I think this is the game most likely to get ugly. I just don't think the Panthers. I know the Panthers beat the Rams a month and a half ago. That's the regular season. This is the playoffs. And this is where the Rams will be more dialed in. They have a distinct talent advantage in this game. I could see them winning this game by 3 touchdowns. I really could. I just don't think the Panthers are going to be able to hang. I don't think the home field advantage is enough to keep the Panthers in this game. I think the Rams win this one pretty handily, and I think they cover.
So if you go back to the first time these teams met when Carolina did beat the Rams, Matt Stafford got picked off 3 times. That is the only reason. And Carolina had 3 touchdowns. Was it 3 or 4 touchdowns? The shortest of which was 35 yards. They did not succeed in the red zone the entire game.
Wow.
The net success rate, okay, so success rate, we use this stat a lot. It's 5 yards on 1st and 10, 70% of the yards left on 2nd down, convert on 3rd and 4th down. The Rams were plus 22. They had a 61% success rate. 3 interceptions, including a tipped ball in the end zone, is the reason the Rams did not win that game. Not only do I think it could get ugly, I think it will get ugly. I might take Rams alt line here. Like I think they cruise. Yeah. And I like Bryce Young, and this Carolina team is a fun story. I do not see a path for them to win the football game.
Name a Panthers defensive player who is not J.C. Horn.
Ah, damn. Derrick Brown's healthy. He's good. Captain Munnerlyn.
Still?
Yeah, he went to the Vikings, then back to Carolina, then back to the Vikings, then back to Carolina.
No, like I'm asking you for real. Does he really play for them?
No,
still?
I believe he hung it up a few years back. By the way, the Rams' rushing success rate in that game, 76%.
Yeah, they'll ground and pound. They're happy to do that. Just run it with Kyron Williams all day.
40% is considered, in rushing, is considered pretty good. 76%. I think they kill him.
The Saturday night game, the one near and dear to your heart, Brendan, the Packers on the road, 1.5 favorites at the Bears. First thing real quick, if the Packers were to lose this game, we had a listener, because I was talking about which coach is most likely to get fired if their team loses in the first round of the playoffs. I don't think anybody will, but I think that's a possibility that might be explored in Buffalo or Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. You think Green Bay would think about moving on from Matt LaFleur if they lose?
So there is a great piece out there at acmepackingcompany.com. It's the SB Nation site for the Packers by Justice Mosqueda, who's covered the team for a long time, covers the NFL for SB Nation as well. The whole is Matt LaFleur safe thing has nothing to do with how good of a football coach he is. Historically speaking, the Packers are not like a cheap organization. They are really cheap when it comes to coaches. Matt LaFleur got paid way below market value when he got hired. He was a 1-year play caller with Tennessee for a bad Tennessee team, quarterbacked by Marcus Mariota. And he got the job and he got it below market value. He's gotten an extension. He's fairly well paid now. It's just not something the Packers spend money on. Mike Sherman was not paid very well. Mike McCarthy, despite winning a Super Bowl fairly early, never was like top of the NFL in terms of pay with all those successful seasons and NFC championship games and obviously the Super Bowl as well. That is right now the worry. Like, they might just say, hey, we'd rather reset and go on the cheap because they got to cut corners. Not having a megalomaniac billionaire is such an advantage for the Packers, except literally for this one specific thing. Because he can't just say, like, yeah, I'll throw a few extra bucks to make it happen. Like, no, the Packers have very public data on, like, how much they spend on everything, and the cash flow's all there. There's no, like, weird, dark, funny money. Trust me, if there was, I would be contributing right away. I do not think he will get fired. I will put it that way. I do not think he will get fired, win or lose. I'm so up in the air about this game, though.
See, I think the Packers are going to win because they're really good at not turning the ball over, and the Bears defense, if they don't turn you over, can't stop you.
It's very funny, and I know this works against Green Bay. The Bears only have 2 wins this year when they have forced fewer than 2 turnovers. Tragically, one of those is against Green Bay. Jordan Love back is huge. Almost as big as that is Zach Thomas back, right tackle for the Packers.
Yeah.
When he is on the field, the Packers have a top 3 offense in the NFL, statistically speaking. When he is off it, they are closer to like 17, 18. He's the most important offensive lineman possibly in the whole NFC, next to Lane Johnson with the Eagles. I'll take the Packers. I feel this might be the game the entire weekend I feel the least confident about, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I like the Packers. I just think they'll be able to take care of the ball, and I don't think the Bears can stop anybody. And I saw the Packer defense do what they did for 58 minutes to Caleb Williams not long ago in Chicago. I think they can get a rein on that. I think they can outscore them.
What's the total in this one?
The total in this game, according to Prairie Man Sportsbook, 44.5.
Oh, man, I know it's going to be snowing, but up, over. Give me the over on that one.
Yeah, I kind of like the over, too. Sunday afternoon, Bills-Jags. I said this would be the most entertaining game of the weekend because I think it's the best quarterback matchup. It is a pick'em at Prairie Man Sportsbook right now. It is a pick'em. Both teams minus 110 on the money line.
Do you agree with the widely spread take, and you might have addressed this already, do you agree that the most pressure on anyone in this playoffs is on Josh Allen?
1,000%.
And or that if it doesn't happen this year, it'll never happen?
If not now, when? Yeah, no, this is the year it has to happen for the Bills. And it's why I think they're going to win the AFC. I think that's a powerful motivator. I know Jacksonville's good. I have no problem admitting that they're good. I've seen them put up some big numbers. They've paved some teams. I do think that Trevor Lawrence puts the ball in jeopardy a little bit too much for me, and I know that Josh Allen isn't going to do that. This feels like the kind of game where turnovers could swing it, and I trust the Bills in that department a little bit better. Other factor, though, too, Jacksonville's got a kicker who can hit from anywhere. Buffalo's kicker, like, they signed off the street 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
That could be something that if the Jags win close could be decisive. But I think it's going to be the Bills. Josh Allen's a really good playoff performer. It gets obscured by the fact that he's lost to Mahomes 3 times, but he's been really, really good in the playoffs repeatedly. And we've seen one good half of playoff football from Trevor Lawrence.
It was a heck of a half.
It was a heck of a half.
I'm going Jaguars in this game. One, because I had them in our draft contest the other day, the playoff draft contest. Additionally, I don't think the Bills are going to be able to stop them. The Jags' run game is not very good, but they've been moving the ball so well through the air. One of the best offenses in the league since they traded for Jacoby Myers, maybe the most important player in the NFL, apparently. I'm going to take Jaguars in this game. I don't think the Bills can stop them.
So we're on opposite sides of one now for the first time because I am going with the Bills. Sunday afternoon, 49ers at the Eagles. Eagles are 6-point favorites. That line has moved a half a point in their favor since this morning. I think the Eagles do win this game. I think the 49ers are just too beat up on defense. And they might be too beat up on offense, too, frankly, to be able to move the ball. That's the thing. Like, the Eagles may take a while to get going on offense, but they don't have to score a ton because I think their defense is outstanding. And I think they can do something similar to the 49ers to what Seattle did on Saturday.
Yeah, 5.5's a little rich for me, but I'll lean Eagles here. I agree with the general same point. Like, it's just there's no. Oh, this line moved?
Yeah, it went to 6. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't like that line. because I don't trust the Eagles' offense. I think the Eagles' offense is terrible. Like, not even just kind of no, I think they're bad. But the 49ers can't stop anyone. I would love to see Jalen Hurts run in this game. It's very weird to me when quarterbacks who are good at something
don't do it.
Hey, Matt Wells. I'll take the Eagles, though. I just don't know how the 49ers score.
Chargers and Patriots is the primetime game on Sunday. Patriots 3.5-point favorites. I think they cover that. I think this is going to be a good game. I think we'll see both quarterbacks make a lot of plays. I'm not convinced that the Patriots are really that good. I think the Chargers are a little bit more tested. But at the end of the day, I just think the Patriots offense will be able to be more consistent because they block better. And I think that they'll have more chances to score, fewer negative plays. They're at home. Chargers are going cross country to the cold. I think that matters too. I'll take the Patriots to win it like 24-20.
I hate continuing to take all the favorites.
They're favorites for a reason.
Yeah. At home, cross country trip, Chargers in prime time. That all just sort of spells Patriots, right? Justin Herbert's really good, but Drake May is better. Drake May, to me, is like right up there in the elite echelon already. I really do think he's that good. Pats can't really run the ball. Their defense is kind of meh, but the Chargers can't block. Yeah. There's no line. If this was 3, I'd take Patriots to the bank. I'll still lean Pats here.
And the Monday night game, Texans-Steelers, we could talk more about this on Monday, but for the sake of getting picks in for all of the games here, I think this game could be like low-scoring toilet football, but I just think the Texans will have more answers offensively than the Steelers will. I think the Texans win and cover.
I heard on the Mina Kimes podcast this week with Ben Solak said, look, the Steelers and the Texans with their passing game try to do the same thing, like have this quarterback who loves to throw go balls, throw it, but it's 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf or 25-year-old CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. I'm going to take the Texans in that setup, and I think the Texans defense is just going to overwhelm Rodgers in this game.
That to me is the decider. Yeah. Real quick, who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's going to win it?
I am going with Rams. I've stuck with the Rams the whole way. I will go Rams, Jags. Rams win it.
Okay, yeah. I don't think it's crazy to assume that the Jaguars-Bills winner becomes the AFC favorite.
No, I think that's totally fair.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
By the way, real quick before you go, not a head coach that gets fired. Bills lose first round. Joe Brady. Bye.
I think that happens anyway.
It might. It very well might.
I think that happens anyway. We're going to take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. I'm getting out of here for high school basketball. I'll be at Highland Park tonight. The Scots hosting Atchison on the 580 Preps Game of the Week. We got What Is Wrong With You, some college hoops, and more coming up still on the program here on 580 Sports Talk.
Clear upfront prices. Good already. No nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions. Get to goodrx.com/weight.
Hey, so I'm doing this segment and I'm gonna jump out and hopefully I'll be able to come back.
Videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memory. Hi, I'm Adam Maywater, and I'm Nick Mockery. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever. Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All work is done in the U.S. and we're trusted by over 1 million families. Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off. This is TV's Dr. Travis Ford for Eggland's Best Eggs. Eggs are a staple in our diet, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste, plus
It's What Is Wrong With You time here on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzinski here with you in studio, and Spencer Dupuis is joining us for this segment of the program as well. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, busy week.
Yes.
It has been a busy week.
Has been a very busy week around these parts for a lot of us. Spencer's been holding down the fort ag-wise, but we've got a couple of stories to get to today on What Is Wrong With You. Our current winner for the week is, as Dan phrased it, gone postal on a porch pirate, the postal worker who delivered a package to the wrong house. Then when a kid on a scooter picked it up and was taking it to the right house, thought the kid was a porch pirate and tried to run him over, and then stole his scooter. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
Do not like William White Jr. From down in the state of Florida. All right, Spencer, why don't you start us off with your What Is Wrong With You story for this afternoon?
All right, we're going to go back down to Florida, Broward County, Florida to be precise. A Titusville man is accused of chasing a 7-Eleven employee with a knife during an argument in a Cocoa Beach convenience store.
Oh.
Joshua Hunt, 48, is accused of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and felony violation of probation after officials said he held up a knife and followed a 7-Eleven employee in the Cocoa Beach convenience store. Investigators with the Cocoa Beach Police Department said on January 6th, around 10 p.m., Hunt entered the gas station where a man he was court ordered to have no contact with worked. Hunt held up a knife and hung around his neck and pointed the knife at him as he chased the man throughout the store, the employees told investigators. Hunt followed the store employee around the front counter as the employee called 911. The affidavit said previous court documents show Hunt had previously stolen a motorcycle from the employee in June. He was arrested for motorcycle theft and was sentenced to probation. He was court ordered to not have contact with that man. Hunt has an active Broward County warrant for violation of probation. On January 8th, around 1:30 p.m., police found him in Cocoa Beach, where he was taken into custody. He's currently being held in the county jail without bond.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, anytime you've got a protective order and you're going to go and flagrantly violate it, things are not going to go very well for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's intense. My story is going to involve some senior citizens down in Davie, Florida, where a 75-year-old woman arced a taser and claimed to be a cop as she intervened in a Walmart self-checkout dispute to defend a senior citizen in a motor scooter who witnesses say was making racist remarks to another customer. So already we've got old woman on a motor scooter using racial slurs, We've got another woman with a taser, and then we have a third guy who's involved. Oh, by the way, the woman with the taser lied about being a police officer. That's according to documents that were released this week. Police say it happened about 4:30 New Year's Day at the Walmart on University Drive. The report states that the victim, her mother, and an independent witness all told police the incident began with an elderly woman on a motorized scooter making, quote, racist and abusive remarks toward the victim. Police said the victim told officers the woman said, among other things, the Hispanic victim did not belong in this country, again, among other comments. Investigators said another woman, identified as Lori Cavan, intervened by pulling a black taser out of her handbag and pointing it directly at the victim and her mother and arcing it. That's when you create a spark without actually shooting the the bolts out. Police said that Cavan told the two women, "Stop, I am a police officer." However, the 5'5", 86-pound, 75-year-old woman is, in fact, not a cop. They say that surveillance footage showed her joining the dispute and pulling out the taser. An officer then caught up to Cavan as she was walking with her dog into the parking lot. Yeah, there's a dog involved here, too. Lori claims she intervened to defend the elderly woman and that during the argument, the woman and her mother approached them. Lori admitted to pulling out the taser and arcing it to cause a spark, though she did say she pointed it at the ground. Again, she was caught on video. She then confessed to identifying herself as a police officer and did not state whether or not she was aware of the alleged racist remarks from the initial perpetrator. She was arrested on charges of aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony and impersonating law enforcement.
Jeez.
75 years old, 5'5", 86 pounds.
Tried to impersonate a police.
Stop!
I'm police.
I'm a police officer. You young whippersnappers. Yeah. This lady's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm a police officer as she's walking around with her dog at the grocery store. All right, Spence, who you got for today?
Just one incident. I think it's got to be your story because why? We don't this guy is just crazy. He stole a motorcycle, went back to the place where the guy is. He's just crazy. There's layers to it. Yeah, I don't know. I one clear incident.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean with our septuagenarian as well. This is a good day, though. Two more good week. Really strong start to January in What Is Wrong With You. So does our septuagenarian impersonator defeat Gone Postal on a Porch Pirate?
Oh, I don't know. These are two full-grown adults doing stupid things.
Yeah. I'm going to say it does not
I think
usurp the current winner.
I think our week winner is going to be
it's
held
a
on
kid.
the entire week. Yeah.
Why are you stealing his scooter?
Yeah.
That's brutal. All right, that is our winner. Gone Postal on a Porch Pirate, wire to wire, if I'm not mistaken. It is our winner this week in What Is Wrong With You. Spencer, good to see you. We might see you before the show is over today.
Yeah, we'll see how fast I get this stuff done.
That's life in radio, isn't it? That's Spencer Dupuis. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back on the other side of this break, talking some college football from the weekend or from last night, previewing tonight's game as well, plus college hoops coming up this weekend. We'll get to all of it right after this on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Brzezinski here with you in studio for 580 Sports Talk. Happy feel-good football Friday afternoon. Wild card weekend coming up around the National Football League. 2 games tomorrow, 3 games on Sunday, and then the Monday Nighter as well. We'll, of course, talk about that game a little more in-depth coming up on Monday, along with a full recap of the first 5 games of the weekend. We'll get to some college hoops here in just a moment. KU and K-State both in action coming up tomorrow. I did want to share a few thoughts from last night's college football playoff game. We'll preview the game coming up tonight, Indiana versus Oregon, during headlines in the final half-ish hour of the show. We've got high school hoops tonight, our 580 Preps high school basketball game of the week from the pressure cooker, Highland Park versus Atchison in Meadowlark Conference action. Dan Lucero is on his way to Ken Darting Gymnasium right now. But I did want to get to last night's game. Dan and I talked about it a little bit at the top of the hour, but I picked Miami to win. I may or may not have put a shekel or two on Miami to cover a 3-point spread. And funny enough, I don't really think Miami won that game the way I expected them to. If you were asking me to pick a play on the total, I probably would have picked the under because I thought Miami would really create a lot of problems for that Ole Miss offense. I love Trinidad Chambliss. What an incredible college football story. More on him in headlines later as well. But as cool as he's been, as great as he's been, and Ole Miss certainly has talent, a high-powered offense when Lane Kiffin was there calling the plays. Their OC, Charlie Weiss Jr., yes, the son of that Charlie Weiss, although this one is less of a tool and a pretty good play caller, at least at this point. But I thought Miami's defense, their size, their physicality was going to shut down Ole Miss. Miami would score enough. We'd end up with like a 17-10 kind of game. Turned into a shootout, and I got a little bit worried when Lacey, the Ole Miss running back, had that 70-yard touchdown early in the second quarter. But this is why Miami is fearsome this year. It's not about Carson Beck. As good as Malachi Toney is, and he is great, Keelan Marion's a really good wide receiver as well. Obviously, Mark Fletcher, their running back at Miami. I love that dude. He's a lot of fun. I'm not very high on Carson Beck personally, but it is about that Miami defense and how stout they are. Reuben Bain didn't have any sacks in the game, but he was creating pressure. He was shutting down running lanes. Mesidor up front had a pretty good game. They've got solid players, especially a lot of young players on the back end of that defense. I'm not a Miami fan by any means, and I still have a nagging feeling that Mario Cristobal is going to do something that costs his team at some point as the head coach. But credit to Miami because they got it done. And they needed a couple times late in situations where I was certain that Miami and Mario Cristobal, of all people, was going to play for a field goal. They didn't. They went for it. And it worked. And on that final drive, down by 3, I thought, oh, God, they're going to try to force overtime. Not only is this bet going to go sideways, but I don't think that's smart for Miami. Ole Miss has all the momentum right now. And they went for it. And they kept running the same screen over and over and over and over again to Malachi Toney. And just very impressed by Miami's win last night. Great year for Ole Miss. Obviously, incredible story with the D2 transfer from Ferris State, Trinidad Chambliss. But I think the best team from that part of the bracket is going to be playing for the national championship. And again, we'll preview Indiana versus Oregon coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. As for the college hoops action coming up this weekend, we have a question here from Mark B on the YouTube, so I'll get to this right away. Washburn in action. Number 1 Ichabod men and the Ichabod women as well. 15-0 for the men, 10-4 for the women. The women looking to bounce back after a tough one on Wednesday night. Men had a kind of a sloppy second half, but still picked up the victory. In action from Maryville, Missouri, Bearcat Arena coming up tomorrow afternoon. The women tip at 1:30. The men, 25 minutes after game 1 ends. We're looking at about 3:30, 3:45 or so. Pregame starts at 1:15. We will have all the action right here on our sister station, Country 106.9. Not right here, but over on Country 106.9 for that Washburn doubleheader coming up tomorrow. Cool storyline in the men's game is that Marcus Glock of Washburn men's basketball played at Northwest last season, transferred to Washburn. There's obviously a lot of emotion that comes with an in-conference transfer, going back to the place where he played last year. So a fun little storyline for the Ichabods in that one. Looking forward to it. Yours truly will be on the call. Again, coverage beginning at 1:15 over on KTPK Country 106.9. As for KU and K-State, both on the docket and on the road coming up tomorrow, I want to start with K-State versus Arizona State. K-State got mollywopped earlier this week, and fantasy football and sports gambling are very similar now in the sense that we've always for years and years joked, right? No one cares about your fantasy team. No one cares about your bets either. That is like especially true. If you're in a conversation about it, like, oh yeah, man, like, oh, this is the action I had. Oh, cool. I've got a really good buddy who we text about that all the time. Just to say, oh man, I'm so excited for this game. Yeah, dude, I bet the spread. Like that's not always the most engaging type of conversation. For the purpose of furthering the point of what I expected from that game earlier in the week, I assumed Arizona was going to blast K-State. The spread closed at 17.5. I thought, okay, let's see if Arizona can make me a little money. Sorry, Wildcats. And they just beat the pants off of Jerome Tang's team. And I thought Marcus Johnson didn't look all that good in that game. Had a few clips that made it to social media that were not especially flattering of his effort in that ball game. And look, Arizona's really good. If you wanted to tell me Arizona's number one in the country, I would only argue with you a little bit because Michigan is unbelievable. But Arizona is really, really good. They have all that young freshman talent. The public and the people are not big fans of K-State right now. K-State, according to the KenPom numbers, is 74th in the country. They're lingering around, well, really right around where they've been the entirety of the Jerome Tang era for the most part. Meanwhile, they are going to Arizona State, so playing on the road, obviously difficult. Arizona State is 92nd in the KenPom. For those of you who don't want to do the subtraction yourself, those are 18 spots apart, K-State versus Arizona State, according to probably the best and most accessible advanced metrics out there, and Arizona State's favored in this game. Not a great look for K-State. Now, looks only matter to a degree. Optics only matter to a degree. Go prove people wrong. This is the kind of situation where, based on Jerome Tang's leadership style and what has worked for him in the past, you would love to see, hey, they're doubting us. Hurley, Bobby Hurley, the bad Hurley coach, because he is. I think Bobby Hurley's a terrible coach. I don't care what happened with KU and K-State last year against Arizona State. I think Bobby Hurley is a terrible coach at this level, at least at that program. And they're favored over us. I would use that as a motivating tactic. If I was Coach Tang, I'm sure there will be something like that in the pregame message to this team. I will take K-State to win in that game tomorrow. Arizona State's not very good. They lost a lot through the portal. Again, I think even if you've got questions about Jerome Tang as a game manager, X's and O's guy, etc., he's better at that stuff than Bobby Hurley. Let me tell you that much. So I will take K-State. Would I be shocked if it went the other way? No, because even with the discrepancy in rankings over at KenPom, both teams unranked in the AP poll, their actual rating is very similar. It's only about 2 points, 2.2 points apart. So they're very similar. I just think K-State still has more talent, has better coaching, even if there's question marks and still trying to figure out how all the coaches fit together. I'll take K-State against the bad Arizona State team. KU at West Virginia, again, for you advanced analytics fans, West Virginia enters the weekend 72nd in the country, so right around K-State. KU currently slots in at number 18, again, pretty much where the Jayhawks have been all season long. I am not going to tell you anything you do not already know and are not already thinking about this game. My big question is, how much Darren Peterson do we see? If we see 28 to 30 minutes of Darren Peterson again, I think KU is going to win this game going away. I think West Virginia eventually will get back to this very proud basketball program and heritage. But if Darren Peterson's out there that much, I do think that KU is going to win. A, because he is the best player on the floor, but B, KU needs more time. And again, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. KU needs more time with DP on the court next to Trey White, Flory Badunga, Jaden Dawson, Paul Mbia. I don't care who. Everybody else on the roster. Melvin Council, certainly. Those guys all need to be on the floor together more often. The more they're out there together, the better off this team is going to be as the season goes on. So that's the big question. It will continue to be the big question. How much Darren Peterson is out there? If it's plenty, I think KU wins this game. We've got to get to a timeout. We're going to do a little change my mind coming up on the other side of this break. As you may have noticed, I'm the only one in the studio right now. So if you would like to offer a change my mind prompt, you are more than welcome to. Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429, or you can leave one in the YouTube comments. I'll try to change your mind coming up on the other side of this timeout right here on 580 Sports Talk. right, a quick round of Change My Mind to wrap up the 4 o'clock hour. Appreciate a couple entries from the YouTube comments here. One from Mark B. Change my mind. The Tang Gang is not a tournament team, and unfortunately, I've got to agree with Mark on this one. I thought going into the year, I liked the talent. I bought into the talent. I bought into Matthew Driscoll being hired as an assistant. And I thought with some desperation, certainly on the mind of Jerome Tang, trying to get back to those high highs of his first season, I thought, yes, this team can make it into the NCAA tournament, win enough games in the non-con, go 8-10-ish in Big 12 play. That should get you in. Don't feel that way right now. They can't do anything if they're not outscoring you. And that is worrisome for a team coached by Jerome Tang and for a team that right now is not especially good defensively. This one from Mark H on the YouTube feed. Changed my mind. Pizza rolls are more than a snack food. No, they absolutely are. I agree. Jeffrey adds, depends on how many, but no, I eat pizza rolls for lunch constantly, especially during football weekends. I'm assuming Sunday lunch probably going to be a big steamy roll of air fried pizza rolls. Also, this one from Joe, who says, change my mind. Landman sucks. I assume that's the show on Paramount, CBS. I don't know if it's on regular TV or just streaming. I have not watched it. However, my wife told me the other day that she's sick of the Taylor Sheridan propaganda machine, and I didn't really know what that meant. But if she says it's not good, I'm going to go with my wife and say she's right about that one. Thanks for the Change My Mind entries. We're going to get to a break for the news and some ads here at the top of the hour. We'll come back with some headlines. We'll get you ready for 580 Preps Friday night game of the week action. All coming up here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW. Hey now, it is the final hour, half hour, 15 minutes of 580 Sports Talk on this feel-good football Friday afternoon. Brendan Dworzinski with you inside of our Huntoon Hill studios, on Huntoon Hill in the studios, however you want to phrase it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Coming up during this final portion of the show, we've got some 580 Sports Talk headlines to talk about. College football playoff coming up tonight. Right here pretty quickly, though, we got to send you over to the pressure cooker. Ken Darting Gymnasium at Highland Park High School. Dan Lucero is on site for tonight's edition of the 580 Preps High School Basketball Game of the Week doubleheader. Meadowlark Conference action. Highland Park versus Atchison. Pre-game, the games, post-game, all of it can be heard right here on 580 WIBW. Don't forget, you can join in, be part of the show either on the text line, 785-272-9429. You can also leave us a comment on YouTube. Go to youtube.com if you haven't already, youtube.com. Just search 580 Sports Talk, hit that enter key or return, I think if it's Apple. Yeah, it's enter on PC, return on Apple. You Linux folks, you build your own computer. I don't know what your button says. You know what I'm talking about, though. If you built your own computer, you know what button I'm talking about. And then just 580 Sports Talk. We're going to be right there. Click on us, subscribe, watch the video. We surpassed, finally, yesterday afternoon, 900 subscribers. That means that coming up on January 20th, that's the day after MLK Day, January 20th, 4 o'clock, top of the 4 o'clock hour, myself, Spencer, and Dan, we'll be doing 580 Sports Talk Idol, 580 Sports Talk Karaoke. We're looking forward to it. We're going to make asses of ourselves, but that's okay. We're going to have a whole lot of fun coming up on that day. We're very much looking forward to that. Mark H. asked me on YouTube, what's the one song I don't want to sing? My voice stinks regardless, which is probably not what you want to hear from a guy who talks on the radio and broadcasts football and basketball for a living. Probably don't want to hear them say, wow, my voice sucks. My singing voice is bad. Really tragic for my choir teacher in 5th and 6th grade. Yes, I was in the 5th and 6th grade chorus. Choir, whatever. I was not very good at it. There were no cuts when you're 11 and 12 years old. My singing voice is not very good. I know Dan's is obviously My Maria. What he has said is the worst song ever, but whatever. I would like to end up with a song that I enjoy, even if it's a goofy song. You want to throw me a bone? Give me a little Britney. All right, I'll do that. A little country song. I can live with that. That's totally fine for me. So we'll see. We'll find out soon, I suppose, what exactly our results will be. That's coming up on the 20th, 11 days away. All right, let's get to a couple of headlines for today. Number one for me, I did want to get you a real quick pick for the college football playoff game coming up tonight. We already know that Miami is going to play for the national championship. They're going to play at home at the Orange Bowl for it. In fact, coming up just over a week's time. Tonight, line has moved ever so slightly. It is Oregon versus Indiana in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. Indiana favored by 3. I am going to take the Hoosiers to cover the spread and thus to win outright. I think they're the better team. They were the better team throughout the entire game than Oregon the first time out. I think that Indiana front 7 is really going to cause some issues for Dante Moore. Obviously, the Ducks have unbelievable skill position talent. Sadiq for Oregon is one of one. That dude is a monster. Oregon's got great skill position talent. Indiana's is pretty good. I like Indiana's quarterback better. I love both of these coaches. I think Signetti's incredible. I think Dan Lanning has done a great job. I like them both a lot, but I am going to take Indiana. I found myself rooting for Indiana a little bit. Not only one, because my best friend growing up, his parents are huge IU fans. I don't know if they've ever cared about football. They're huge IU basketball fans. They went to the Rose Bowl, though, on New Year's Day. They were living it up. They've loved this ride, so I'm happy for them. But also, to be blunt, as someone who went to a program who historically is not good at football, kind of cool to see a team that is literally the worst at football historically have this kind of success. So I think Indiana wins this one, and I do think Indiana eventually will go on and win the national championship game. Other headlines today, mostly from around the NFL. That's where we're getting a lot of our notes today. Some news on the coaching and personnel front. One involving, in fact, the Kansas City Chiefs. This was reported by Adam Schefter. Chiefs defensive line coach Joe Cullen interviewed today for the Commanders DC job. Again, that's per Adam Schefter of ESPN. Probably not the hottest that Joe Cullen's stock has ever been, given the state of the Chiefs defensive line. Now, I think part of that is talent. Charles Omenihu getting up there. He's had a nice career, but sometimes guys fall off a cliff. George Karlaftis had a lot of pressures this year, not a ton of sacks. I know frustrated a lot of people. I don't think yet there is enough inside to help out Chris Jones. Ashton Gillotte certainly brought some positives. Wish we could have seen some more Omar Norman Lott. The Commanders are really infatuated with Chiefs and former Chiefs between the guys they brought in on the offensive line. When you factor in Wiley, and I cannot remember the other one. Spencer is going to get frustrated with me that I cannot remember the other offensive lineman that wasn't Andrew Wiley. It was the kid from Illinois. I can't pull his name out. Spencer's trying to write it to me in the air from the Ag studio, but I'm not smart enough to know exactly what he's spelling out. So I know they brought over a couple offensive linemen, clearly interested in Joe Cullen, who I think would probably do a good job. They literally could not do a worse job. That was one of the worst defenses in the NFL, maybe better than the Bengals, but not many other teams. Probably would be a good fit there, but significant if the Chiefs need to make a rare coaching staff change and replace their defensive line coach. Nick Allegretti is who it was. Dan reminded me of that via the phone, so thank you, Dan. I knew he went to Illinois. I knew he played the interior. I was never going to pull that name, even though I talked about him at length for years and years with this Chiefs team. Thank you, gentlemen. Also, on the coaching front, the Baltimore Ravens have completed a couple of interviews for their head coach opening, including Kevin Stefanski, the fired Cleveland Browns head coach. Now, that would be funny. Also, offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak of the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know about that one. I think Kubiak has done a good job in Seattle. I'm not trying to take that away from him. That feels like a very meteoric rise for Kubiak. Remember last year, he was the hotness for about 2 weeks because the Saints got off to that crazy start. Taysom Hill was the most useful dynamic player in the NFL for a hot minute, and then they completely fell off the face of the earth. Goes to Seattle. Things have been looking pretty good. He's gotten probably as much out of Sam Darnold as you could hope for. He's a Kubiak and part of the, the Shanahan, McVay, Kubiak tree. So there's obviously going to be desire there. I don't know if that one makes some sense, but probably worth the interview. The weirdest interview of the day, coaching-wise, the Buccaneers fired almost their entire assistant coaching staff, and not Todd Bowles, which if you have listened to us talk about the NFL at large in recent years on this program, you know how much I despise watching a team coached by Todd Bowles. I think he's an idiot when it comes to the game management stuff. I think he is way, way, way overly conservative. I think if you're supposed to be a defensive guy, your defense better be good, and theirs is not. But they fired everyone else, and for some reason, Todd Bowles gets to stay around. They interviewed Brian Callahan, the former offensive coordinator of the former head coach, of the Tennessee Titans for their offensive coordinator job. Why? Their offense sucked too. And that franchise is in a bad spot in Tennessee, but Callahan, maybe as a positional coach, I would not want him as my offensive coordinator right now. A couple other positional things. The Dolphins are hiring Packers VP of Player Personnel, John Eric Sullivan. He does a lot of the draft work for Green Bay, and he's done a really good job with that. Been with the team for 23 years. He's never worked for another NFL team. Going to miss him in Green Bay, no doubt. Also, hysterically, the Atlanta Falcons are expected to hire Matt Ryan for their job, the president of football job in the front office for the Atlanta Falcons. I should note, they created that job specifically for Matt Ryan. This is the funniest sports reporting by insider folks that I have seen in recent days. Before that, it was all, and I think I brought this up on the show, it was all the folks, and they do a great job at 24/7 Sports and On3 and all these other places. They do a great job of breaking news about portal and recruiting and all that. But after Matt Campbell took the job at Penn State, I'm putting in my crystal ball pick that Rocco Becht will go with Matt Campbell at Penn State. Yeah, no duh, guys. Benjamin Bramer, the tight end. Yeah, we know. We've known since the moment Matt Campbell picked up the phone from Happy Valley that he was going to take all those guys with him. This is even funnier, though. Matt Ryan is the leader in the clubhouse to be the Falcons president of football. They made the job for him. Of course he's the favorite. No one else is being seriously considered. The gig is his. They made it for him. Hilarious. And I know that's how the insider game works. I'm not too naive as to think, oh, there's something else going on here. But yeah, that's pretty funny reporting. One other note from the NFL. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Al Michaels is returning to Prime Video broadcasts of Thursday Night Football and playoff football coming up next season. He'll be 81 years old, or now, in fact, he's 81 years old. Been calling primetime NFL games for 40 years. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, one of the best sportscasters, sports broadcasters to ever live. Iconic in so many ways. It's hard to say no to that guy, but, oh, man, it's this was not the best year of Al Michaels' career. I will be kind and put it that way. Not the best job that he has ever done in his career as a broadcaster. Additionally, other sports headlines we'll get to really quickly before we get you a final word and get out of here. From college football, told you we would get to this. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has had his waiver for a 6th year denied by the NCAA. He's only played 2.5 years, used a red shirt, had an injury thing while he was at Ferris State, trying to get a 6th year. The NCAA denied it. He is considering legal options as well as a regular NCAA appeal. I hate how often lawyers get involved here. Go to the NFL, man. And look, I'm not trying to tell the guy what to do. I know I just did. I'm doing it somewhat facetiously. Like, I obviously don't have an input for Trinidad Chambliss. I actually think from a narrative perspective, it's really cool to think that nothing will ever taint the run he went on for Ole Miss. D2 guy, backup, finally gets to start, wins a national championship, transfers to Ole Miss, knowing he'll be a backup, but just wanting to be a part of an SEC program. Guy in front of him gets hurt. He takes the reins, is even better than the guy in front of him, takes the team to the playoff, wins the playoff game, has a great shootout in the semifinals. Like, nothing can beat that, man. That's an incredible story. And if you leave now, nothing ever taints it. Not in the risk that 2026 goes poorly, not with the off chance that there's off-field drama, injuries, whatever. But that's not how things work. And, of course, lawyers will be getting involved. 2 other quick notes from the sports world. The Grizzlies are open to trading beleaguered superstar Ja Morant. We'll see about that. And Brooks Koepka is trying to return to the PGA Tour. As it turns out, the weird fake arcade golf tour is not as fun as doing his thing on the PGA. And he has not been nearly as good since he left the PGA Tour. I know that mostly from Dan and from watching SportsCenter. You know me, not much of a golf guy. With that, let's get to our final word for today as we wrap up this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Going rapid fire here with my take. Just enjoy the football weekend, guys. It's the last time we're going to get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all straight with football until next season. So enjoy it. And send some goodwill to my Packers. It might be a tough Saturday night for me otherwise. We will finish up 580 Sports Talk right there. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check out the YouTube stream. Check out the podcast on Spotify as well. We'll get to a break, and when we come back, Dan Lucero's got you for the 580 Preps High School Basketball Game of the Week doubleheader. Highland Park versus Atchison and Meadowlark Conference right here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW. Enjoy your weekend.